Original.
And I'm in love with the money.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our live stream. We are going to be talking about game plan for growth. And I'm Cardeen Williams, insurance strategist as well as CPA. And I have with me Hodman and Abby, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves quickly. So, Hodman, you go first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hodman Murad from Ballistic Arts. I've spent my career helping businesses grow through data-driven sales and marketing strategies, and I joined Ballistic Arts to bring that experience to our clients here. Today, I'm excited to share practical steps for setting up a successful 2025 strategy to drive real growth. Thanks to Cardeen for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure to have you. And Adi, could you introduce yourself as well?
Sure. Thanks, Cardeen, for having me. I am Abhijit. You can call me Abby. I am a fractional CFO. After working for more than 25 years with corporate, I started my own fractional CFO consulting, where I like to help businesses take informed financial decisions with peace of mind while having some fun in this process. Yeah, I'm going to talk about balanced scorecard and how this can help unlock lot of opportunities for small businesses. Yeah, looking forward to collaborate and share. Thank you.
And welcome to our viewers. So we're going to jump right into the presentations. So game plan for growth. And we're going to start off by definitely understanding what our success journey looks like, right? We want to know what we want to do for our success. So we need a clear destination. What's the goal? What's the target? And also we need to build out a plan to get there. So how do we clarify our business vision and goal? We have to visualize our ideal outcomes. So think about, what do you want your business to look like in a year? What do you want your business to look like in 3 to 5 years? And define what success looks like for you. So first, know what you want. Have a target, a measurable result or outcome that you want to attain. Know why you want it. How do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve? Ensure that your goals also align with your values, because that can be a barrier to achieving our goals when we don't have them aligned to our values. Know what it will take for you to get there. And this is not just about external resources, it's also inclusive of your internal resources. Do you need to change some habits to ensure that you have the time to invest in your business? Do you need to acquire new knowledge tools, right? New resources, skill sets to help you achieve your goals? Who do you need to bring into your corner? Do you need mentorship? Do you need to reach out to individuals who have different skill sets that can help you grow your business? And what massive action do you need to take in order to get towards your goal, right? And we set these targets to help us focus where we want to go in our business. We can look at things like our revenue goals, our expansion goals. It might be time freedom or lifestyle goals that we have, and those are what are our drivers to achieving our business goals. The other thing that we need to understand is what is stopping us. Every goal has obstacles. The key is knowing what those obstacles are so we can put mitigating factors into play to allow us to achieve those goals. From my perspective, the first and biggest hurdle we need to get over is our mindset, our belief in ourselves and our own capabilities, right? And if this is a problem, we need to figure out why it's a problem, look at our thought patterns. Are we giving ourselves excuses, putting roadblocks in our own way, preventing us from achieving our goals? So again, we might have a fear of failure or even a fear of success. We might want to avoid the pain associated with the hard work and the time that we need to invest in our business. Or we might find it difficult to forego immediate pleasure in order to attain our long-term goals. So these are some of the things we need to look internally at to see if these are excuses or roadblocks that we put in our own way, right? And then life's demands. I know we all have life's demands, but we can't use those as an excuse to not achieve our business goals. Limited resources and cash flow. We all need funding, we all need inputs into our business. Time management and lack of delegation. We need to manage our personal time as well as the time that we spend in our business to ensure that we are achieving success. And also, we must recognize that we are not an island, right? We need support in our businesses. We might not have all the skill sets that we need to scale, and we need to identify what we need and who we can bring into our business, or just maybe just build a mastermind, an informal mastermind that can help us brainstorm and get ideas to scale our business.
Just interjecting here, I would just like to reflect on one thing, the point you mentioned. Like I like to say, you don't know what you don't know, but you know who knows, right? So, in case of things where you feel that you are not the subject matter expert, you can definitely seek help from either a business coach, insurance strategist, from a CFO, depending on or a marketing consultant, depending on whatever is the problem that you have in hand. You don't have to know everything, but as long as you know who to reach out to at the right time, that can help unlock some of those things and just provide you that additional help and support.
Definitely, we need to find the resources and the people that can help us close the gap. And that last bullet point, unclear brand messaging and market positioning. And I'm sure Hodman will speak to that later, but that can be an issue when we are maybe speaking to everybody and not necessarily the person that we can actually serve. So, how do we close the gap? Steps to building an actionable plan, right? So what we're building out today, or starting to build out today, is the identify the steps that we can take to get us where we want to go. And the first thing is to prioritize or define our focus. We clarify where we want to go, right? We assess the situation where we are at now, not making it worse than it is, right? And we see what it could be, the outcome that we want. And again, by prioritizing, hopefully by the end of this, you'd have identified 1 to 3 things that you need to do within the next 24 hours, 7 days, a month to get you closer towards your goal. As Abby said, we need to identify the resources that we need. We will not have everything we need within ourselves, whether it be funding, whether it be skills, whether it be access to resources or information. We need to go out and take steps to bring those into our business. Mentorship. This could be formal or informal, but reaching out to persons who have accomplished what we want to accomplish would be a good first step. Maybe it's following them on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, reading the materials that they put out, attending sessions that they are presenting at, or getting them, investing the time and the money into one-on-one coaching, whatever can get you there, given the resources that you have. And milestones, everybody needs those checkpoints in their business just to help you keep motivated and being able to measure your success and your progress towards the goals that you've set for yourself. So this is like a brief intro into how you can figure out what your vision is, the steps that you want to take to get there, the resources that you need, whether internally or externally, the action steps that you can take, and identify markers in your business and your own personal development to help you reach your goals. So one marker might be getting in touch with a consultant regarding marketing, having that strategy session, or learning a new skill set, or reaching out to your local resources to identify funding opportunities. There are certain steps that you can take now, within the next week, within the next month, to help you achieve your goals. So I want you listeners to think about it. What can you do today? What can you commit to today What can you commit to doing in the next 7 days and the next 30 days to help you get to your goals? There's a quote from Tony Robbins that says, successful people ask better questions and as a result, get better answers. And the questions tend to be, what can I do? How can I do it? Instead of, why is this happening to me? Why is the situation the way it is? Right? So think about the questions that you can ask yourself and the action that you can take to get towards your dream. So this is an intro for Hodman. Hodman is going to help us narrow down our focus on who we serve, why we serve them, and how we can get in touch with them.
Absolutely.
Over to you.
Thank you so much. Just let me know when my presentation is up.
Sure.
Thank you. And I love the part about setting milestones. It's really important to be self-motivated and making sure you're tracking your progress when you're a business owner. You don't have a boss telling you what to do or acting as a balance for you. So thanks again, Cardeen, for the warm welcome and for organizing this incredible session. I'm really excited to be here with all of you today as we dive into planning for a strong 2025. It's a privilege to connect with so many forward-thinking business owners and leaders who are all focused on growth and success in the coming year. To introduce myself, I'm Hodman Murad. I'm currently with Ballistic Arts, where we specialize in creating data-driven digital marketing strategies tailored to help businesses grow and thrive. My journey to Ballistic Arts has been shaped by a variety of roles across marketing and sales. I started my career in tech sales, where I quickly realized how vital it was for sales and marketing to work hand in hand. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to lead teams focused on lead generation, customer acquisition, and strategic partnerships. Working across different industries has taught me a lot about the unique needs of each market, and I joined Ballistic Arts because of our shared commitment to delivering measurable growth through digital strategy. And now my role is to help businesses like yours cut through the noise, reach our ideal clients, and generate the leads that matter. So for today, we're going to cover some of the key aspects of building a successful marketing plan that can align with your growth goals for 2025, including practical strategies and real-world examples that can help turn your ideas into action. I'll be sharing insights from our digital marketing strategy plan, or DMSP, that we offer our clients, which is designed to help you clarify your goals and target the right audience and achieve measurable growth. So let's dive in. At Ballistic Arts, we say we solve our clients' problems with creative, data-driven, no bullshit solutions. We are completely staffed with creative and data people that understand marketing from a business perspective, that the point of marketing is to create revenue and not just pretty images and videos that don't do anything for your bottom line. Why is balancing both creative and data important? At Ballistic Arts, we blend creativity with data to craft campaigns that aren't just eye-catching, but are also measurable and impactful. Creativity helps us capture attention to tell your brand's story, while data ensures we're making strategic, results-driven choices. So this balanced approach is our secret sauce. It's how we achieve meaningful, revenue-focused results for our clients. To set your business up for success in 2025, it's essential to align your sales and marketing efforts with measurable real-world results. At Ballistic Arts, that's our core focus, helping clients grow in meaningful ways. Many of our new clients come to us because they want to elevate brand awareness, drive real growth and revenue, and finally see results where in-house efforts may have fallen short. By developing a clear, focused strategy, you can position your business to achieve impactful growth in 2025 and beyond. And just quickly, here are some examples of our current clients that we provide our services for. Let's get into the first step to setting up your marketing plan, creating personas and understanding your target market. So knowing who you're targeting is crucial. Without a clear ideal customer profile, it's tough to hit your sales targets. The process begins with identifying your ideal customer profile, building detailed buyer personas from real data and insights, and crafting campaigns that reach the right people. This foundation is what ensures your marketing efforts resonate and, most importantly, convert into real results. To get a bit more into building personas, who better to illustrate this than Homer and Marge Simpson? They live together, they're married, but they couldn't be more different if they tried. Homer responds to donuts, beer, and lazy Sundays, while Marge cares about family, keeping the house in order, and maybe a glass of wine after a long day. If you were marketing to the Simpson household as a single audience, you'd miss the mark on both Homer and Marge. So building distinct personas allows us to reach each type of customer in a way that speaks to them directly, whether it's Homer's love for a good snack or Marge's need for peace and quiet. An example of a customer we had to market to different personas for is Habitat Systems. When Habitat Systems approached us, we had to take a two-pronged approach to their marketing, as their business is divided into two distinct silos. One side serves landscape architects who purchase playgrounds to fulfill their contracts, while the other targets schools and municipalities directly. For their B2B audience, we focused on campaigns highlighting technical specs and project portfolios through LinkedIn and industry publications. And for their B2C side, targeting schools and municipalities, we created visually engaging ads on Facebook that emphasized safety, community benefits, and real testimonials. So this dual strategy helped us build awareness across both markets, resulting in significant increase in qualified leads for them. Which brings me to creating messaging that resonates with each persona. So once you know who your customers are, it's essential to speak to them in a way that really connects. Effective messaging should directly address their pain points and position your brand as the solution they're looking for. It's about crafting language that speaks to their needs, highlighting what sets you apart, and making sure that each piece of content resonates emotionally to encourage action. So your message is your brand's voice, so you have to make it powerful and relevant to your target market. EcoRaster is one of our customers that required messaging for different persona targets. So EcoRaster, they're a leading manufacturer of permeable paving solutions made from 100% recycled plastic. So to effectively reach EcoRaster's diverse clientele, we developed tailored messaging for each target segment, so residential customers, commercial clients, municipalities, by crafting specific messages that address the unique needs and concerns of our audience. We effectively communicated EcoRaster's value proposition, which led to increased engagement and sales across all segments. So now that we've defined personas,
Hodman,
yeah.
I have a question because you've put forward two perspectives just now, I believe. One, you used the Homer and Marge, where we're basically looking at the clients and their personalities, while this last one, it's more value-based, what they want to bring to the market. So I guess is there two options to how you approach your target market? It could be you attracting people who have similar values, or you talking to people who meet a certain customer profile.
So the customer profile also involves meeting their values as well. So what is it that they value, whether it's from a B2B side and you're solving business problems for them, or you're actually solving something that they need for their home or to make their lives easier. So really, every customer profile includes a value, the value proposition that would be most relevant to them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So now that we've defined personas and crafted targeting messaging, the next essential piece is tracking data for continuous improvement. So marketing isn't a set it and forget it strategy. It requires ongoing tracking and fine tuning to define the best results. At Ballistic Arts, we focus on the metrics that matter most: conversions, engagement, and ROI. By consistently monitoring these using analytics to refine campaigns and testing different strategies, we make sure every campaign is optimized for maximum success that this approach not only boosts performance, but it also ensures sustainable growth for your business year after year. We have this one client, Lugs Insights, which is their boutique market research agency that, with offices in Vancouver and Seattle, they work with clients like Amazon and Nintendo. So when Lugs first approached us, they were already well established in traditional sales channels, but struggled to generate high quality leads online. Our initial campaigns for Lugs produced a good number of leads, but they weren't converting at the quality they needed. So we dove into the data to pinpoint what was missing. We refined our targeting, optimized their website for better user experience, and adjusted our messaging to better connect with their audience. So, and within 90 days, we were able to make changes that led to a spike in qualified leads that were all aligned with Lugs' specific goals. So this is the power of listening to data and optimizing based on what it tells us. Just like data from Star Trek, we rely on data to make informed, logical decisions rather than guesswork. By analyzing results from every campaign, we gain insights that reveal what's working, what needs improvement, and where untapped opportunities lie. So this approach allows us to adjust quickly, optimizing every aspect of our strategy to consistently achieve better outcomes. So now that we've
Sorry, I
yeah.
have a quick question. You
Mhm.
mentioned about ROI in your previous slide. So how do you calculate that? Do you have any favorite ones like return on ad spend or cost of acquiring customer? What is your favorite ROI KPI that you like to recommend to your clients?
I would say especially if your marketing program is small right now, you should be paying attention to how many leads you're getting, but also the quality of those leads. So actually taking a sales approach and connecting with every lead that comes in. And then once you're having a regular filter of leads coming in, you can start paying attention to things more like the cost of customer acquisition. But at the beginning, my favorite one is leads, and also since you're tracking the cost of your advertising, if you are doing paid ads, then definitely what that each lead that came in cost you, so you can actually track your finances that way as well.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Okay, so we've covered the key components for a successful 2025 strategy, which are creating detailed personas, crafting messaging that resonates, and using data to optimize. So it's time to put these insights into action. And this is where Ballistic Arts comes in. We specialize in lead generation, digital marketing, and brand awareness, focusing on companies with niche products. Together, we can build a customized plan that aligns with your business goals and sets you up for growth in 2025. So let's connect and start building your path to success. Thank you so much for having me again, Cardeen.
Thank you, Hodman. I have a question. So, if I were a client and you're onboarding me, and I guess you'd want me to delve into who are my ideal clients, what kind of questions would you prompt me to ask myself in order to flesh out who my ideal client is?
So I think a great place to start when you're figuring out who your ideal customer is to look at your current customer roster, and replicate those titles or those types of companies that are buying from you. And then afterwards, once you can have like complementary customer personas, and once you have those, you can actually start testing the different personas. But the very first first question I would ask you is what sort of customers you already have, and then we can go from there and figuring out if you can go into different markets and with different titles as well.
Okay. And I was told at one point that my ideal client might look a bit like me, right? Meaning they have my similar pain points, my similar interests. Is that like a good starting place to see who you'd have, who you'd enjoy serving? Would that help?
I mean, it depends on what your product is, Cardeen. If you are, um, if your target market is is a woman in your demographic, whether it's with age or race, or then that's somewhere where you can start as well. But it really depends on what your product is. I do kind of agree though, because at Ballistic Arts, before I got to Ballistic Arts, I was in a position where I had to generate leads, and working with marketing people was a little frustrating. And now I'm helping people in sales positions and sales management positions that are also equally frustrated. So it could go both ways, but it really does depend on your product in the end. Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry. So if there was one action step that our listeners should take when identifying their clients, what would you tell them to do within the next 24 hours to kind of have an idea who they want to serve or how they will be reaching their clients, the messaging that they'll be sending?
Yeah, I would see who my clients are, their titles, their type of companies, like what verticals they're in, what their pain points were that led to them becoming customers. And then I would also put together a short survey about what it is they like most about my service or my product, and how just giving me feedback, and then using that to actually to lead what your messaging is going to be. So you might describe the benefits of your product differently than what your customers are telling you. So that's a really good way to just surveying them and asking for their feedback is a really good way of also getting content for messaging.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we are going to move into the next section of our presentation, and this is about managing risk. As business owners, we're faced with risk every day, and certain risks are inherent to our businesses. So for example, let's start with the types of businesses that are available to us. We could be a sole proprietor, we could be a partnership, we could be a corporation, and the risk is different for each to an extent. For sole proprietors and partnerships, right? The owners or operators, they bear the risk and rewards of the business. The liability is unlimited to them to an extent, right? Because the person of the business is not completely separated from the individuals themselves. The business lifespan is actually tied to their lifespan. So what are some of the concerns and the risks associated where you as a business owner, you're the operator, how does that impact the people that you serve and the other people who rely on you? How does that impact the longevity of your business? For corporations, these are separate legal entities and they're owned by one or more shareholder. They have limited liability, but in most instances, especially for startups, any arrangements, example, credit arrangements might also require personal guarantees, which means it might offer a degree of separation, but then there is still a risk to personal assets and resources. Also, the life of a company extends beyond the life of its owners. So what kind of ownership transitioning strategies do you have in place for your business? And these are concerns that individuals must think of and address when building out their business. So what do you see as the future of your business? How does that tie into your own personal plans? How does the success of your business tie into your future plans for yourself, your family, your team, and your business? One key component when looking at the longevity of your business, how you're going to transition ownership, is your business succession planning. And this is simply putting in a process or determining how your business will transfer ownership while maximizing your own personal financial security. And when we think about this, some people feel like it's way in the future. We don't need to be thinking about this at day one, right? But it's at day one that you need to bear in mind the end that you want to have and the end that could possibly come upon you unforeseen. The ultimate end, of course, is to retire out of your business. right? But then there are unforeseen circumstances that could also put your business at jeopardy if you don't have contingencies in place for it. For example, a serious illness or disability can take an owner out of the business prematurely. A death could take a business owner out of the business prematurely. How would that impact the families that it supports and the life of the business itself? Right? Because when that kind of stuff happens, right, we still have bills coming in, whether it be on the personal front or on the business front. And how do we manage this risk? How do we make sure that there's money coming in to take care of both personal and business obligations? Retirement, this is a planned exit, right? What strategies are you putting in place now to ensure that when that time comes, you're able to transition the business tax efficiently and continue living the lifestyle that you want to have as well? If you're building your business for sale, how do you plan to support yourself after the business? How, if it's a partner or a co-owner buying out the business, how will this be funded? If it's payout that is triggered either by disability or death, how will this be funded? So these are some of the questions that you'd likely want to ask. What if the owner or co-owner dies and they're unable to work in the business for an extended period of time? How will you take care of the business interests? I've heard a story before where a lawyer, she got ill, she got critically ill, right? And if she didn't have contingencies in place while she was not able to work, while she was enduring treatment, her business would have died, right? So what contingencies do you have in place? If her partner wanted to buy out her share of the business because she could not return to the business, would that be possible? Would her family be able to continue? Would that buyout be facilitated so they could continue and survive financially? So these are questions that we need to bear in mind and build out into
I
our
would just
business plans as well.
Sorry, Cardeen, sorry to interrupt. I thought I'd just quickly reflect on this what if. Actually, it's not a what if. Like you would have heard that cliche, the death and taxes are the only things that are constant in life, right? And I would add to that, even disability, it may not be today, but in some shape, form, will happen sometime to you in future, right? So it's always good to be prepared. Like I like to say, live in the present but be prepared for the future. Yeah, thanks.
And that's the thing too, Addie. The probability of you getting seriously ill or disabled before the age of 65 is actually higher than the probability of you dying, right? So we do need to consider those things and how it impacts our family, how it impacts our business, and have those risk management strategies in place to ensure that the families can live and the business can continue, right? So the other thing is business continuity. So this again is the process of identifying risks that might imperil the business and adopting risk management strategies to minimize and eliminate or transfer the risk. And when it says transfer the risk, that is really talking about insurance, right? You move the weight of that risk to somebody else. For small businesses, especially where the owner is actively working in the business overhead expense protection is critical. Because what happens if something happens to you and you can't work, which means you can't earn, right? So the rent might still need to be paid, the business loans still need to be paid, all your services will still need to be intact. Your admin staff, they want to, continue working as well. Having this kind of coverage ensures that if you're not able to generate income because you're taken out of commission or incapacitated for a period of time, you have the money coming into your business to sustain it. Corporate liability. When life happens, right, whether it be a serious illness, a disability, or death, your debt might be called, right? For the person remaining in the business, they might bear the burden of having to address those debts in a time frame that is shorter than originally planned, right? Because the creditors will come knocking when the guarantor is no longer around. Is that right? Right? And also, as key person, this might be the owner and it might not be the owner, but they're the person who drive a significant chunk of the revenue to the business. What happens if this person dies, becomes disabled or seriously ill, and is not able to work in the business? That impacts your revenue. How do you protect yourself against this risk in your business? Talent retention is another area that we need to definitely consider as business owners. As it is now, being able to keep the persons, because business is in fact a people business, right? People are the ones who deliver services, who create goods and provide them to your customers. If you're not able to maintain your talent, how will this impact your business? How will this impact your customer retention? So all of this, again, needs to be looked at when you're looking at your business plan. Have these contingencies in place to ensure that if these unforeseen events happen, you are covered, the business can survive without having to liquidate all its assets, or the family is strapped financially because they have no access to cash because they are not able to continue the business. So what would be the implication if somebody became disabled, critical ill, or die? Will it cause credit restrictions? Will it cause loans to be called, a demand for payment, right? Personal guarantees, will this be putting your personal assets at risk? What contingencies do you have in place for that? How about staff retention? Will you be losing your staff to your competitors? Will you be losing your clients to competitors because you're no longer able to serve them? And the other question too is, how would your family be able to survive? Will the cash flow from the business be able to sustain the lifestyle that they have? Staff, right? What's the cost of replacing your staff? Can be a significant expense for businesses if they don't have the wherewithal to maintain their staff, whether it be admin or sales. So we need to consider what we have in place to mitigate the risk, the inherent risk, and these risks are inherent to any and every business. What strategies do you have in place to ensure that this is taken care of? And of course, if we exit through retirement, right, there are other things to consider, and I'm sure Adi can attest to this. When it comes to exiting a business, retirement, getting rid of whether it be by sale or transitioning ownership to your family, your kids, whatever, there is a tax consequence, and this needs to be planned for sooner rather than later, because the bill can be quite hefty. Are there significant shareholder loans? How will those be closed out? How will you be funding your retirement? What strategies do you have in place to ensure that you have liquidity to pay off your capital gains, your debts, your final expenses? So all of these are concerns that needs to be addressed in your business. So again, these risks are common to all. Serious illness, disability, and heart attack, stroke, cancer, or major injury, the possibility of these is quite high before the age of 65. How will a passing of an owner impact the families and the business? There are certain tools that we have in place that we can use, right? Because if something happens, whether it be death, sickness, or injury, it might impact income. We might not have any revenue, but our fixed expenses will remain. Do you want to be exhausting all your cash in the business, all your personal savings, in order to ensure that your expenses are covered as well as the business expense? This is not an outcome that we want. So we need contingencies in place. So these include disability insurance, injury or illness, to ensure that if something happens, you have that income coming in on a monthly basis. You can also add critical illness coverage to this. So this is a lump sum payout that you can use to support your family and also to support your business. There are certain riders that you can add to a critical illness product that will allow you to get some cash back if you don't use it in the business or personally. Right? But these contingencies ensure that you have money coming in whether or not you're able to work. Business overhead expense. This is especially critical for small businesses, up to 5 persons in the business, where the owner is actively working. This benefit can provide coverage for up to 24 months of contractual fixed expenses. So this makes sure that you can continue to serve, bring in the skill set that to replace you. You can continue to serve your clients, continue to work in the business. You won't be losing customers. You won't be needing to liquidate assets. You can get back on the horse, so to speak, when you're fit and able to. Again, the impact of death on a business and the family can be quite traumatic if you're not prepared. At the point of passing, all debts become due, all assets are deemed disposed of. Your family lives on, but guess what? It could be that the income stops, right? And then the taxes are due as well. What do you have in place to safeguard or provide liquidity in those instances? For this, there is life insurance. Life insurance is a financial tool. You can use it to create an asset. In some instances, the business might be very cash heavy. This is a way to pull assets out of or cash out of your business, put it in a cash value life insurance policy where it can go tax exempt. This asset that you're creating, you can leverage it for within your business or personally, right? So you can use it as a way to get quick access to liquidity to pursue a business opportunity. It can also be a strategy that you can employ to create a retirement fund for your owners and also your team. So again, look at the financial tools that you can use to protect your business, protect your team, and also protect your family. Having a resource that you can create and manage yourself within your life insurance policy, having it as a tax planning tool, also as a way to get quick and easy access to cash to pursue opportunity and also to take care of the family or the business owner when they come to retirement.
Sorry, I just wanted to reflect one more thing about the treatment of various expenses related to insurance. And again, it's my personal take that somehow it is not handled very well in the conventional accounting. It is normally treated as an expense, but even if it's your personal life insurance, I personally believe there are two components to it, right? One is the mortality, which is actually an expense because you don't get back. But then there can be an investment as well, which grows, and depending on the type of the policy, sometimes it grows tax free. It provides you opportunity to use that as a collateral for your any other debt that you might have to raise, right? And also the tax treatment, right? If you pay $100 and depending on your tax bracket, say if you are at the highest tax bracket of 54%, then basically you end up only paying $46. So there are those ramifications. Speak to your accountant and insurance strategist and understand that how exactly it works out for you.
Yes, and again, these are tools that you can use to grow your wealth tax exempt, also to provide you with easy access to cash tax efficiently, and also to create an asset that you can leverage over time. And again, for life insurance, remember too that that final payout that happens at death that comes to you tax free. So that's definitely a way to plan out your estate well. So when looking at your planning priorities. When looking at building out your business, you do need to build that safety net around your business, around the people that it serves, whether it be your immediate family, your team, etc. And these are some of the priorities that you need to look at when building out your business succession planning, your continuity plans, looking after any debt. Some businesses are debt heavy. For example, real estate investing, that is quite a debt heavy endeavor, right? Your expenses and overhead protection. Key person, you want to be able to minimize taxes. Right now, our capital gains tax inclusion rate has gone up significantly, right? Planning for your retirement. This is not something that you do at the age of 55 or 65, right? You need to start doing that in your 20s and 30s. So the sooner, the better. And of course, you want to ensure that your business and personal goals are aligned. All right, so that's my portion of the presentation. Any questions, any comments? I'm looking at the chat just to see if there's anyone. No comments so far, but I've seen a response, very insightful from our viewers.
If somebody was, let's say, earlier on their career and earlier on their life, what would your suggestions be to get started in planning for all of this?
Well, again, the sooner the better. When you're young, you actually have an advantage. One, these contingent strategies are less expensive for you, and you are healthy. So it's likely that you're easier to qualify. You might even get preferred rates on these when you are younger. One other consideration too, if you're young in your career, you might not have the obligations of kids, home, mortgage, etc., which can actually reduce the free cash that you have for investing and putting in place these strategies. So again, if you have that higher liquidity at that point in time, that might be a good place to start investing. Remember, even your permanent life insurance policy, you can have a permanent policy providing you tax sheltered growth, right, for 10 or 20 years. And if you've overfunded or front loaded that option for yourself, that means in the later years, you don't have to be worrying about it, right? You'd have been paid up by then, and you also give your investing the advantage of time, right? Compound interest to work. So youth is an advantage, right? I wish I knew what I know now 20 years ago, right? And that's what I tell my kids. That's what I tell every young person I meet, right? Get these strategies in place for yourself now. Ensure that you're investing tax efficiently using the tools that are available to you, your TFSAs, your cash value life insurance policy that gives you all the advantages of growing that wealth and being able to access it tax efficiently in the future as well.
Awesome. You also
Yeah,
got
and it
another
forces a
comment.
discipline as well, right? It's like a forced investment, right? So it sets up a discipline, and then the corpus starts growing, right? Like I said, it's actually a investment come protection. So it serves multiple boxes as well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's giving your dollar multiple jobs. All right, so thank you very much. This is how you can get in touch with me in order to learn more about what strategies you can employ in your business and your personal life to ensure that you're financially secure and protected for the future, as well as you're growing wealth and creating other easy access to cash and other resources to propel your business forward. So, Adi, it's your time.
Thank you. So, yeah, let me know once you put up the deck. Thanks everyone for patiently listening to us. We are going to talk about balanced scorecard. If you move to the next chart, my apologies, somehow a part is hidden here. Uh, okay, no, I can move the slide. Sorry, yeah. So just a quick intro. I'm Abby. I'm a CPA from Canada and ACA. I've worked as a CFO for last 15 years across India, China, Canada, mostly with Fortune 100 companies like Tata, Pepsi, and so on. currently I'm working as a fractional CFO. As I said, I like to help small and medium-sized enterprises, including startups. I'm passionate about creating content and spreading financial literacy through blogs. You can follow me on LinkedIn, and I can promise you will not have a day of boredom. Yeah, and I also I share some YouTube videos through my Money and Mind channel, and that's my company name. Yeah, how to make money, not losing your peace of mind while having some fun in this process. So we'll talk about balanced scorecard. Before yeah, this is a quick intro for the afternoon. We'll start with the intro. How is it powerful, and it keeps things simple. Again, that's something very close to my heart, keeping things simple. And a lot of people feel that it is like a kind of a laundry list of your financial KPIs, but that's not the case. It actually provides a 360-degree view of your business health. And we'll also showcase how a balanced scorecard might look like for a business. And again, no one size fits all. Depending on your industry, sector, genre, you have to customize it, because the KPIs that are relevant for a manufacturing may not be relevant for a SaaS company, and so on. Yeah, so with that, without any further ado, we'll go to the balanced scorecard. And before I go to that, I thought I would just reflect on a story from Animal Kingdom, where we can also see the genesis of balanced scorecard being used. And this is from meerkats. Again, I don't know if you are familiar to those creatures. They are very small, hardy creatures. A lot of them are found in the Kalahari Desert in South Africa. And what struck to me are, that how they are so social beings, and they have very clear demarcation of responsibilities within their team members. That's something balanced scorecard teaches us as well. Yeah, so they have a team which is like a protection arm. Their main goal is to look out for against predators, because they live in deserts, so there are a lot of big snakes, and also at times they are near water in some places, so they have to be very careful against that. The second is sharing resources. Yeah, so again, like a lot of other animal kingdom that we see, they have a team which is specialized in digging, while there is another team which takes care of the other animals that are not so much actively doing the digging work. Yeah, so again, divide and conquer strategy is being used. There's a third one which is about skill building. So they have a team whose main objective is to teach their younger ones how to do those digging and protection. And depending on their expertise, then when they grow adult, they will join those relevant teams. And eventually, social bonds. So, right, so we are all social animals, and that's what we learn even from them. So now the question is, why is this balanced scorecard as a tool so much useful for small businesses? Yeah, because when I talk about that, a lot of people think that it is only for big corporates, but that's not true. It can be a very invaluable tool even for small businesses, and I would actually argue more so, because a lot of these businesses do not have these specialized demarcation of responsibilities, right? Like, it's all about being nimble, entrepreneurial, and agile mindset that we see in these small businesses, where one person may be handling sales, marketing, as well as strategy, right? So it's very relevant for them to know that what are the relevant KPIs that, in their particular sector that they should be managing, and that's what balanced scorecard provides. Uh, the other question that I see a lot, that is it only my financial KPIs? Again, that's not true. It's a myth. It's a holistic tool for tracking what truly matters, which can be beyond financials. And that's what this tool is all about, providing a 360-degree view of your business health, capturing financial, customer, and consumer KPIs, internal process, which can be anything to do with your operational, supply chain, quality, learning and development, anything to do with your human resource, talent management, and so on. So it's entirely providing you a 360-degree view of your business. So now let's dive. What are the things that are really important in terms of a balanced scorecard that a small business should really be familiar with? I would say the first is goal setting. We already heard from Cardeen the power of goal setting. So aligning your goals across the key areas of our business is very critical. And this tool provides you a kind of, it acts like a North Star for your business, right? Unless you know your destination, you will never be able to assess if you are moving in the right direction or not. So at every period end, it will provides you a clear snapshot of your progress in various parameters of your business that you have decided for yourself, right? So it's a really an invaluable tool for businesses of all sizes. We already spoke about that it is beyond financial KPIs. Now let's explore all the four dimensions that balanced scorecard dwells with. So we'll start with financial KPIs. Again, it's a no-brainer. It is a priority, but not the only priority. That's what is important. And some of the KPIs that businesses may like to assess can be revenue growth, their margin, cash flow. Again, like I mentioned, it's not one size fits all. It depends on the maturity of a business, life cycle of an organization. Some of these KPIs can be different, but it is definitely be there on their radars, right? So the financial KPI is the one we start with, but then it goes beyond financial as well. So let's dive into the customer KPI section. So again, we heard from Hodman some of the sales and marketing KPIs. Yeah, so without happy customers, business won't survive. Some of the KPIs can be customer retention, customer satisfaction score, net promoter score. Net promoter score is nothing but how much my customers are likely to recommend my product or service. It can be cost of acquiring customers as well, return on ad spend, and some of the sales and marketing KPIs that we spoke about. I see we have a question from Alicia saying, will we get the slides? And I believe the answer is yes, right, Cardeen? We should be able to share that.
And also the recording is on my YouTube channel. It will stay on LinkedIn, so that's a good way to revisit the presentation. You could also send me an email, and I can email out the supporting documents that the presenters might want to share as well.
Perfect. Great. So moving on, the next one is internal process KPIs, which is about optimizing efficiency, unlocking productivity, and to making sure that all of your internal processes are geared to drive smooth operations. Again, it will depend on the particular company, industry you are in. It can be, say, if you are a supply chain company, maybe it is OTIFs, that is on time in full, or it can be a order fulfillment, cycle time, production efficiency. It can be related to safety and sustainability is such an important thing. A lot of those KPIs are included here. Quality control KPIs. Yeah, so basically anything that you think is important for your business and needs to be agreed upon should be set up, and then we review that at periodic intervals. Learning and growth is the last but not the least one. That's very important. That helps to nurture growth. The strength of your business lies in the capabilities of your team. It can be about employee retention, training programs, skill development programs, how much time you are taking to hire a new employee, and so on and so forth. Attrition rates, yeah, again, depending on what is important. Engagement, a lot of companies do independent engagement surveys, so they like to keep a track of that, and hopefully it's moving in the right direction. So those KPIs are definitely captured here. Yeah, so moving on to the summary, this is how a balanced scorecard looks like. My apologies for being it to be an eye chart, but again, I just tried to have everything in one page, and that's why we see it's little cluttered. But again, don't worry, it need not be so complex. It can be for a small business, it can be pretty simple, maybe two or three parameters across each of those pillars, like we spoke about financial, customer and consumer, internal process, and learning and growth. You can select. And this is where you can take the help of the relevant subject matter experts, right? You can take the help of your CFO to come up with the ones that are related to your finance, from your marketing expert who are he or she may be in-house or external partner. Yeah, and similarly, internal process can be your operations team or any other consultant you are working with, and your HR partner should be able to provide their inputs on which are the relevant KPIs. And once you have a consensus, what is important is to set up have a goal. And again, we spoke about that as we started off. Have a medium term plan, and again, for some companies 2 year can be medium term, and for some companies it can be 5 year, right? Because the scale and the pace at which the technology is changing can be very different depending on the type of industry you are at. But define that for you, then you have to break it down into monthly, quarterly targets, and at the end of each month it will be a good practice to compare against the target how you are doing, and do a kind of root cause analysis, right? That what is working, what's not working, what can be done differently, and then prioritize that, right? You may have 10 KPIs where you are not hitting the target, and you have limited time and resources, you can't focus on all 10. Then maybe start with three or four which are the most important ones, and then have an action plan. That's what this will promote you to have those conversations, either in your board meeting or your management committee, depending on how your company is structured. So basically everyone comes together at every month, then goes through it, and then have a meaningful conversation that what could be done differently and what's working well, and also to celebrate those small wins. Don't forget that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I would stop here and see if there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Abby. And I have a question, especially coming from a self employed or entrepreneurial perspective, where I'm basically the sole person in the business or the main person in the business. Managing KPIs might feel overwhelming, but you mentioned four areas: financial, revenue, operating margins, and cash flow. So is it a good idea, at least to start off, have one KPI per category so as to avoid overwhelm, and once we've kind of fine-tuned the underlying processes that support those, we can move to another one? How would you suggest a self-employed person or a small business owner approach defining and tracking those KPIs?
That's a great question. And like I said, no one size fits all. And again, if you are a service industry, it might be that you don't need a lot of internal process KPIs, right? It's more related to operational ones, right? So every company, every small business is unique. Yeah, but some of the things would be very similar, right? Even for a small business, ultimately you are trying to grow. Hopefully on a year-to-year basis. So the net sales and profitability are those KPIs that will tell you if you are moving in the right direction. And then number of customers, say if you are trying to see that if you are adding new customers along the way and how satisfied they are, then you might need to have few of those KPIs in the customer consumer quadrant, right? Learning and growth is, if you are a solopreneur, it is for you, right? Because how you are keeping abreast of the changes, whether in the legislations or you are working with partners like subject matter experts who are helping you, then bringing that relevant expertise, right? But eventually, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are filing your returns on time, you are taking adequate coverage on your insurance, like you mentioned, your investment strategy is aligned. So yeah, I mean, it might look overwhelming, but when you start, I would say one step at a time. Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, and that's where you can always leverage help of experts like us. We can help you navigate the way without it to be so cumbersome. Yeah.
Awesome. And I saw a comment in the chat when it came to internal processes, that's where she needs help. And I think too, we can, I was reading a book. I think they were talking about an airline. It might have been Southwestern, and how they determined a KPI. Their key KPI is basically based on the value that they wanted to bring. And they wanted to be known for being on time all the time. So that was the key thing that they tracked. So again, identifying what the value you want to bring, your value proposition, and what's important to your ideal client would be one way to maybe define a few or the main KPI that you want to track, right? And then when it comes to revenue, operational cost, that would be the ROIs, whether it be ROI on ad spend, ROI on any other resource that you put into the business. Cash flow, for example, your customer pay period might be something you want to monitor when it comes to cash flow, right? And how the your payables, how often those turn too. So those are maybe some ideas as to what might be a key performance indicator. Just that's what KPI means in the people, key performance indicators to your business. But what I found that was common throughout all the presentations was that we need to always be revisiting, whether it be our goals, our targets, our timelines, the milestones, revisiting information to make sure that we are accurately targeting our customers, accurately messaging, whether or not the efforts that we're putting into marketing or cost control or revenue generation, all of those are meeting targets, and we need to prioritize what's important, where we can get the biggest bang for our buck, and also making sure that we're taking continuous action to move us towards our goals. Any other comments from anybody else? Any key takeaways that you want for our listeners today?
Yeah, I would say start with your vision, mission, and values, right? BMV document, and then decide what is important. Then set some kind of goals, like start with medium term and then break it down into short term. And then you can decide which are the relevant KPIs or key performance indicators that will help you move towards your end destination. So always remember that. And again, it often feels that sometimes you may have to take some detours along the way, but as long as you have those goals, you know whether you are moving in the right direction or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hodman, you were saying?
I was just going to say from my end, just to repeat it, how important it is to align your marketing and sales with clear data-driven strategies that are tailored to a target audience. So when you combine personas with resonant messaging and testing and ongoing data insights, you create a powerful foundation for sustained growth.
Awesome. And I appreciate all of your time today. We pivoted, right? And that is so important when it comes to business, being able to assess your situation and pivot as needed. And we did that today. So thank you to all our presenters, and thank you to all our listeners. At one point, I believe we had up to 7 persons, and I'm sure there will be individuals who will listen to the replay on LinkedIn and also as well on YouTube. So I would want you just to tell individuals how they can get in touch with you one more time. Hodman.
Yeah, you can reach me at hodman@ballisticarts.com. And my phone number is also in the ticker below here. But yeah, hodman@ballisticarts.com.
And Adi.
Thank you. You can reach me at Abhi_Lahiri at moneyandmind.fun, and my phone number is also below. So yeah, all of you take care of starting off with a great 2025. Have your plans and budgets locked in, and see you in the next fiscal year. Then take care.
Bye,
Awesome.
everyone.
Bye.